Hello to my beautiful family of light. You know that means you, and if you don't know that, stick around a bit. I may be able to convince you. I want to welcome you to my channel. My name is Claudia, and through my ordinary life experiences, I go from being clueless to having an awareness and then acting upon that. Now, what does that mean? It means we are way more than we think we are, and you're included in that. There are no exceptions at all. So let's begin with the next chapter, which is number 16 for us. I'm a couple of weeks, by now, probably, let's see, September, October. I'm midway into October. I'm developing some nice friendships because now I have a church in my new community, and I'm not a member. I haven't joined the church, but I am an active participant, and it's a wonderful thing to begin developing some friendships, to be having fellowship under a wonderful, loving house of God, and I'm part of the choir, so I'm doing all kinds of wonderful things and having some nice adventures. And I've got a very dear, good friend who, and her husband, who have me over at least once every couple of weeks for supper and to make sure I'm okay. And so here we are, mid-October. Fall is well underway, and in this country, one of the first things, I had a mechanic do an oil change for me and winterize my vehicle, and he wanted to know if I had a block heater, and I said I didn't even know what that was. Well, he said, in another couple of weeks, he said, when the weather, the temperature drops and everybody is gone, all the tourists and people are in their homes, getting ready for holidays and hunkering down. And he said, you could roll a silver dollar down Main Street and there wouldn't be anybody around to chase it. So then literally that is what happens. It gets so quiet. It is a big tourist town. And I mean, motorcycle groups, thousands of motorcycles from Sturgis go through on their way to Yellowstone, or from Yellowstone on their way to Sturgis. And the park closes down typically early, either the end of September, early in October. And so everything gets really quiet, and the community just isn't that big. So anyhow, I'm going from doubt and worry, why I was there. All of a sudden, I really am having a bit of a regular life. I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying the weather, which is kind of better for me. It's a drier climate. There's more sun than there is anything else. Even if a storm blows through, that's what it does. It's like blows through. I remember having a hailstorm one day, and it dropped big hail, but you just sat there and watched the thunderheads build, and they go up 35,000 feet. It's spectacular weather. Anyhow, so I'm getting ready for just to be hunkered down, and people are giving me advice, and you got to buy some warmer clothes. So I've been to get underwear, long johns and that sort of thing that wick moisture away. I have not been able to ski since I had a broken pelvis, but what I'm about to learn is that I can ski. So people are suggesting that I get a few things, like I say, long johns that'll wick moisture away, layers that will be warm, and keep you out of the elements. Lots and lots of stories, because I'm now working in the hospital, and so, you know, life is going on, and it's quite nice. Well, come Thanksgiving is coming, so I arrange for my son to fly into Billings, Montana. Now that's 140 miles up to the airport up there, but it's around where I am. The first snow falls around October 31st, somewhere around Halloween, maybe a little, you know, you may get some flurries earlier, but for snow to come and stay, it's moves into the middle to the later part of fall. Anyhow, so I go set him up with a ticket, and it's a puddle jumper from the Seattle area into Billings. So he's got quite a few stops he's got to make. And I'm thinking to myself, why did I do that? Well, you think you're going to save a little money. So, you know, so anyhow, I go up to meet him, and we get on the road. We're so happy to see each other. It's been before, well, it was the middle of August was the last time I had seen him, because his dad wouldn't know. He was afraid I would run off with him and bring him to Wyoming with me, our son, which of course that would never happen, a person of integrity. But anyhow, so we were just enjoying each other, and as we left Billings, the wind was picking up, and so it chased us down back into Cody, and we stopped to get a bite to eat. It takes a couple of hours to get back down into the mountain part of Wyoming where we were going to be staying, at my home now, and so it was all foreign, and it was fun pointing out different kinds of hawks and birds. Osprey aren't there anymore, but their nests are right along the road, and other wonderful big piles of sweet potatoes that are waiting, sugar beets, sorry, not sweet potatoes, waiting for processing, and the cornfields have all been cut. And so, you know, it's pretty wonderful time of year. Well, that night we hunkered down and told stories and whatnot, but the winds picked up, and I will tell you, they were blowing at 120 miles an hour. By the time, and he told me the next morning, I'm going to tell you this story. Don't you tell him that I tell this story. I just love it, because he laid in bed so worried and saying, finally, he just said, just take me now, God, just take me now. He thought everything was going to just, you know, he was going to be in Kansas like Dorothy. And that poor sweet boy was petrified. Well, he didn't come in and get me. I can tell you, the house we were in, solid as a rock. There was nothing, you know, it was just winds. You could feel that it was going on outside, and you knew that it was pretty mighty. But in the morning, blue skies prevailed, and the house was warm and light, and we had breakfast and shared stories. He climbed into bed with me as we watched a little news and read the paper and the funnies and that sort of thing. So we had a great time just getting caught up there. And then he said I told him, I said, I've never experienced anything like that either. I said, that was just beyond. It was, I can't remember now, 122 miles an hour, and it blew 2 roofs off the buildings at the airport. So had I waited, or that flight came in an hour and a half later at all, he wouldn't have been able to land. I don't know where they'd have gone. Anyhow, we had just, I just said, well, you know, we just have to thank God for getting you here in one piece. Let's hope we can do the same, getting you back. We had a great time touring Cody. By then, there was ice up the South Fork on some granite peaks, and you have to go almost all the way up and back in to see the ice climbers unless you have a good pair of binoculars. So that was a new experience for us. By then, the temperatures were in the teens and had steadily been for a couple of weeks, most of October, and now here it is the end of November. So, you know, things just start dropping and they keep going down. We spent Thanksgiving supper at the neighbor's next door. I don't know if you remember that episode when I told you I moved in, and the woman next door saw the U-Haul and came over, introduced herself, and ever since that time, and she sent over 2 of her high school kids to come help me unload. But ever since that time, about once a month, she sent over homemade orange rolls that were just out of this world delicious. I always wanted to know how to bake and cook. I just never really was much good at any of those kinds of things. And she sent us home with a platter of those, and both of us enjoyed them. The next day, we played tennis. Can you believe it? I mean, it was warm enough for us to play tennis. Otherwise, we went swimming at the pool. We played ping pong up at the rec center. We just enjoyed each other's company and took a look around. So here we are now. It's the holiday has passed, and where everybody's getting ready for Christmas. And I'm not planning to go home that year for Christmas because I just gotten into town, just joined these groups. So I'm part of the Grady Ladies at the hospital. I'm part of a small group that is setting up a theater group. So and I'm singing in the choir, and we're doing a cantata, and we've been practicing that just lightly, but now we've got to do stuff in earnest. So this cantata music was really quite beautiful, very inspiring, and there's a speaking part in it. And in the middle of the cantata, at somewhere, this voice comes in and does their speaking part. And I'm in the back row up on the risers, and I hear this voice. There's no lights. There's lights over the choir and the director, but there's no lights in the rest of the sanctuary. And this voice comes out of the blue, and I almost fell off the risers. I said, I know that voice. I mean, I'm inside. This is another one of those inside things. I don't really have anybody to say I know this person or this voice. I'm just having these feelings and these thoughts. I know that voice. And so this goes on through us rehearsing the cantata, the voice coming in, doing the speaking part. And at some point I said, well, I have to go meet this person because I think I know them. And so we finish up the rehearsal. I head to I'm looking around now when the lights come up so that we can leave. And there's nobody there. I don't see anybody. So I just thought, well, the next time we practice, I'll make it a point to go see if I can see this, meet this person. So this went on for a couple of weeks before the cantata. And as a gray lady, I'm working in the hospital. And Christmas comes and goes, and I don't even remember how I spent Christmas. I'm certain that I either took myself out to eat or was invited over, and certainly the church has a meal. So I know I don't feel like I missed out on anything because I don't have any memories of being upset or anything. So between Christmas and New Year's, as somebody who's in the hospital, which is where I spent a lot of time, there's a young woman getting ready to have a baby, and she has to have a C-section. And she's just this porcelain doll. She's just frail and fragile, and long strawberry blonde hair, and sweet disposition. And I'm always checking on her. What can I get for you? Magazines, juice, whatever. Well, she has to have she has the C-section. And when I go in next, there's family in there. So I just stick my head in and say, need it? And she said, not right now. So I just moved on. Well, I went to somebody in the hospital to get more information about her. And they said, well, she's a Methodist. And I said, well, can I get her address? And I can make her a meal. And so somehow or other, I managed to get that, took a meal to her, found out when she would be going home, took the meal to her house, and left it there. And she didn't know me, and I just left a note with it. I knew they would be going home that day. Well, a couple of weeks go by, and this fellow knocks at my door, and I answer the door, and he's holding the dishes that from the meal that I had prepared, and come to find out it was his daughter. And invited him in. We had coffee. We're talking a little bit. Found out he was the voice, the voice that I thought I knew. And of course, I'm sitting there and I'm going, once I find out he's Presbyterian, said, I don't remember seeing you up there. And he said, well, that's the voice at the da-da-da-da. Anyhow, so this is the beginning of the next story because it starts a wonderful relationship. Anyhow, life has a way of, remember I told you I'm not extraordinary. We all are, if you want to call it that. Things happen synchronistically, and synchronicities are one of the things you should look for to know that your unseen helpers, God's helpers, are working on your behalf. And so with that in mind, and with you wondering what's going to happen with this fellow, I'll tell you next time. I hope you'll join me. Anything that you want to know about how to reach me, or any of the services I offer, are located down below in the description area. Please subscribe, and share. All of those things contribute to you growing your family of light bigger and bigger all the time. Will contribute from that, because things happen exponentially for you and for me. And I just want you to know I love you this much. These arms go all the way around you. They embrace you in warmth and love and healing energy. If you can feel that, just take a deep breath and let yourself enjoy it. And be good stewards of Gaia. She is a wonderful planet who provides us with so much. And until I see you next time, please be well, stay safe, be happy, and know beyond the shadow of a doubt, you are way more than you think you are. Thank you for joining me. Till next time.